Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. If my voice sounds a little congested, that's because I'm getting a little bit of a cold. But anyway, today I want to talk about how we rarely take a step back to appreciate how far we've come and all the progress we've made. We rarely do that, right? Like, I can't be the only one who thinks that. I mean, do you ever take a second and just stop? Like, actually stop, not to, scroll your phone, not to think about what's next, not to plan the next goal, but to just look back and realize how far you've come. Because if you're anything like me, you probably don't. You're so used to chasing the next thing, pushing yourself forward, trying to fix what's broken, or get to where you should be, that you never pause long enough to see how much progress you've already made. And we live in this world that's obsessed with more goals, more progress, more money, more success, more improvement. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting to move forward, that's how we grow. But somewhere along the line, we forget that we've already come a long way from who we used to be. It's like every time we hit one goal, we immediately start thinking about the next one. You graduate, cool, now you need a better job. You make some money, now you want more. It just never stops, and the worst part is, the more we achieve, the less we appreciate it, because the goalposts always move. What once felt like a dream now just feels like the bare minimum. Like, think back to 5 years ago, seriously think about it for a second. If you could go back and show your past self where you are today, would they be proud? Would they believe it? Because you've probably done things that they didn't even think were possible, and you've survived things they didn't even know they could handle. And yet here you are acting like you haven't done enough. We're so focused on forward motion that we've tricked ourselves into thinking we're always behind. And social media doesn't help. It constantly throws everyone's highlight reels in your face, so you start comparing your progress to someone else's. But your life isn't a race. There's no finish line where everything finally makes sense and you can finally relax. There's just moments where you were down but you got back up, moments where you didn't think you'd make it but you did, moments where you slowly built something out of nothing. And those moments are the progress, not the next big thing you're chasing. I think the reason we don't stop to appreciate where we are is because we're afraid of getting comfortable. We think if we stop to look back, then we'll lose momentum, that if we slow down, we'll fall behind. But reflection isn't the same as complacency. You can look back and appreciate your growth without losing your hunger. You can be proud of how far you've come and still want to go further. It's like reloading in the middle of a gunfight. You need that pause to keep going. If you never reload, eventually you'll run out of ammo. And taking time to appreciate your progress doesn't make you weak or lazy, it refuels you. It reminds you that you're capable, that you've done this before, and that you can keep doing it. Every time you thought you weren't going to make it, you did. Every difficult thing you've been through, you got through it. You've adapted, you've learned, you've grown, even when it didn't feel like it. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but think about how far you've come since the days when you were just starting out. The version of you that once felt lost, insecure, or unsure, that version of you is probably in awe of what you've become, and that's something to be proud of. Another thing is that not all progress looks flashy. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the way you react differently to things now. It's the self-control you've built, the confidence you've earned, the calmness you have in situations that used to make you panic. It's the fact that you know you're worth a little more now, that you've set better boundaries, that you've learned so many things that you didn't before. Progress isn't always about numbers or milestones. Sometimes it's just about becoming a little more than you were before. Remember when you used to wish for the things you have right now? Maybe it was a friend group that understood you. Maybe it was a little bit of peace in your life. Maybe it was just to feel happy again. And sure, maybe not everything is perfect now, but at least some of those wishes came true. You built something out of what you once only dreamed about. And that's not small, that's not nothing, that's everything. We forget that sometimes the biggest wins aren't loud. They're the quiet mornings where you wake up and realize you're not as lost as you used to be. They're the nights where you finally feel like you're where you're supposed to be, even if just for a moment. That's the kind of progress you can't measure, but it's real. The problem is we're always looking at the next mountain. We climb one, barely take a breath, and then start staring at the next peak like we didn't just conquer something huge. We tell ourselves, once I hit that next goal, I'll finally feel good. But you've probably said that before, and every time the goal moves again. If you don't learn to appreciate the climb, you'll never feel fulfilled, no matter how high you go. Happiness doesn't live at the top, it's scattered all over the journey. It's in the moments you stop to look around and realized, damn, I'm actually doing this. So maybe take a second, even while you're listening to this, to really think about it. What have you overcome? What have you built? What parts of your life today used to feel impossible? Maybe write them down if you have to. Remind yourself of them when you start feeling behind. Because you're not behind, you're living through a part of your story that your future self is going to look back on with pride. And yeah, there's still a long way to go, there always will be. But that doesn't mean you're not already miles ahead of where you started. And really, gratitude is a cheat code. When you start noticing the little wins, the things you take for granted, your health, your people, your growth, everything shifts. The stress doesn't hit as hard, the setbacks don't break you as easily. Because you realize that you've already been through worse and you made it out stronger. Gratitude doesn't mean you settle, it just means you can finally breathe and say, yeah, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm proud of how far I've come. And that simple shift from focusing on what's missing to appreciating what's already here can completely change how you see your life. And yeah, you're still a work in progress, we all are, but every version of you, your past, present, and future, has played a role in getting you here. The mistakes, the wins, the doubts, the confidence, all of that adds up. And the person you're becoming right now, they're being built by every hard day you thought you wouldn't survive. So be proud, even if you're not done yet. Even if you still have goals you haven't reached, and dreams that still feel far away. Because progress doesn't happen all at once. It happens one day, one small victory, one change at a time. Next time you feel lost or stuck, don't just look around, look back too. See how many times you thought it was over, but you found a way through. See how many times you thought you'd break, but ended up rebuilding stronger. You've made it through 100% of your worst days so far. And that's not just luck, that means something. That means that you can get through things, and you're probably stronger than you think. So yeah, keep going, keep pushing forward. But every once in a while, take a deep breath, look around, and remind yourself that you've come a long way. And the person you were back then would be proud of who you are now. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped, or at least entertained you, and I will see you later.